was getting the numbers to pencil out. Also really want to recognize my friend Sheila Lyons from North Truro County. North Truro County stepped up with very significant funding here, really matching the town's level of support. And then of course tapping into these crucial state and federal tax credits, these low-income housing tax credits. Let's hope these are not screwed with in this reconciliation package in Congress, because this is what fuels so much of our housing development, not just Massachusetts, but across the country. So really, Cloverleaf shows what's possible when every level of government shows up, from Beacon Hill to Town Hall. This project really matters, right? This is a project that survived spurious opposition and countless delays because all of y'all refused to give up. And Cloverleaf represents more than just housing. It's a real commitment to Truro's future. We can't pretend that everything's fine. We have to name our challenges and move towards and build towards what's possible. And you can see those challenges in our demographics. So in 2000, when I was in middle school, the median age, in 8th grade in middle school, the median age in Truro was 45.7 years old. In 2020, when we did the census, it was 60.3. And in 2023, which is the year that we have the most recent numbers for, the median age was 66.2. So we are aging at an unsustainable rate, and we're aging because we're losing people. I was speaking with a parent at Truro Central School who said that their kid's class is dropping from this year to next from 6 kids to 5. When I was at TCS, we had 25 kids in the class. Families like Carvers and Roses and Meldals and Rogers and Caderos and Silvas, fewer and fewer of those remain. And virtually no Sears or Pagrins or Rosencamps can wash ashore here to make a life without having the deepest of pockets. And names like Bowie and Nixon and Sarah and Mason, they've been forced out because they have no hope of being able to afford to live here. Angie and Pedri bought Eastham. Rebecca, you all remember Salta Market? She moved to Maryland. So these are not just numbers, these are people. They're our neighbors, they're our friends, they're our families. And I think we've got to be honest about that. I think today with Cloverleaf, we are being honest about that, a bit delayed. I've also heard from scores of you who make a life here, particularly on the outer Cape, but across the Cape and Islands District, who feel anxious and unsettled and disillusioned with what's happening in our federal government. And there is grief about what's being lost in our society, and deep concern about the wealth that is accumulated and the deep imbalance we see in American society that indeed is ripping this nation apart. But if we're honest, the crisis we have here in Truro and in Provincetown and in Wellfleet, this isn't caused by forces from elsewhere. This isn't a part of MAGA or whatever else. This is a reflection of deeper inequity that is homegrown, that is right here. And I think indeed, we've got to acknowledge the oligarchy that exists in our own backyard, if only to have the consensus to move forward on what has to happen if we're going to sustain these little gems of communities out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean that welcome scores of people in a few busy months each summer. And I know those are tough words, but I think as a native son of Truro, it's important that I ground us in why we're here today, and as we celebrate the work that got us here, and as we resolve ourselves to what we need to do and the opportunity we have in the months and years ahead. So this isn't about going back to 2000, that's gone. This is about preventing another 14.6-year leap in median age over 2 decades, or even a leap of 6 years in our median age in just 3 years. To avoid the median home price in Truro, in my hometown, a family needs to make over $240,000 a year, according to the Cape Cod Times, in an article just published. Median income here is about $94,000. So Cloverleaf and Walsh too, this is about giving workers hope that they can live where they work, or live close to where they work. It's about creating space for families to grow, not just visit. It's about repairing the gross inequity we see when we have families and workers living 4 and 6 people in a dilapidated hotel. This is about making Truro, being honest about the headwinds we face, that we know that our community is struggling to survive, and having a resolve to seize the opportunity to arrest that. And I actually think we can, if you look at the scale of what's possible with Cloverleaf and what's possible at Walsh. In a small town of just about 2,000 people, we can and we are making quite a bit of headway. So Cloverleaf says, we still believe in being a year-round community. And this is just not about affordable housing, it's about a moral commitment to the people who keep Truro running. So we're declaring today, there is room here, there must be. Let's celebrate and in fact, and just have joy about this moving forward, and then resolve ourselves that it's not going to take another 12 years to keep this work going. Let's tap into the tremendous tenacity and resources and talent that we have here. Let's continue to move forward as Truro voters have done at town meeting time and again in supporting housing and doing all this fabulous work. So I'm really grateful and honored to be here with all of you. I know I'm